Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to give you a very thorough overview of the article here. There's a link in the description. It is a tragic case. A 25-year-old man was stabbed and killed. He was actually kidnapped, then assaulted, then stabbed, and tragically died. This happened last month, October the 16th, in Heidelberg-West in Melbourne, Australia. The 25-year-old man comes from Thomastown. It is believed that up to 10 people were involved in the incident, in this tragedy, in this murder, all of which are teenagers, aged between 16 and 19. 9 have been arrested. Police believe up to 10 people were involved. A 10th person, who was a 16-year-old, was arrested but subsequently released pending further investigation. So it is a tragedy. A 25-year-old man who lives in Thomastown in Melbourne died after he was assaulted and stabbed at a home in Heidleberg-west on October the 16th. In addition to that, a 20-year-old man who comes from Reservoir in Melbourne was also kidnapped. Thankfully, the 20-year-old man was not assaulted, was not stabbed, and with that, he survived. He was found inside a car left at the property. The article doesn't tell us who found him, how he was found. I'm going to guess, could be entirely wrong. The article's lacking information, but my guess is that he was found by the police or perhaps paramedics. Paramedics were called to the house in Heidelberg-West to attend to the 25-year-old man that had been stabbed, and tragically, the man passed. So as I say, police believe up to 10 offenders have been involved. They've arrested 9, and I'm just going to give you a couple of details in regards to that. So as I say, they're all teenagers, every last one of them. 4 17-year-olds and a 19-year-old. All of those 5 come from the suburb Preston, and those 5 have been charged with both murder and kidnapping. In addition, 2 18-year-olds and a 16-year-old have been charged with kidnapping. So that's 8 teenagers outlined there. 5 of them have been charged with both murder and kidnapping. 3 of them being charged with only kidnapping. The article tells us that another 16-year-old was arrested earlier in November, but they've been released pending further inquiries. And the article is giving us a quote from Detective Inspector Dean Thomas from Victoria Police's Homicide Squad. I'm not going to read through the full quote there, but essentially it's saying that they're taking this matter extremely seriously, and the young ages of the suspects is not going to give them any leeway. They're going to come down hard on all of the suspects, regardless of their age. That's pretty much the message that what is his position? The detective inspector is giving out. So we have a little bit of information in regards to the actual incident that occurred. We don't have too much information, but the article tells us that allegedly 10 people in 2 vehicles arrived at the property in Heidelberg-West at around 3:30 p.m. on October the 16th, before the 25-year-old man was stabbed. Paramedics arrived at the scene, but the man could not be saved. I don't know how the paramedics got there. I don't know who alerted the paramedics. I don't know if the multiple alleged culprits were still at the premises. Presumably not. So we don't know too many details, certainly within this article. Perhaps there's more details out there that I'm not aware of. The only other bit of information that we're provided with is that a neighbour of the home in Heidelberg-West, in which this 25-year-old man was assaulted and murdered, a neighbour said that about a week prior to this murder, on October the 16th, about a week prior, there was a lot of noise coming from inside that home, and that all of the windows were smashed at the front of the house. All of the windows were smashed. I'm going to make a quick comment. Perhaps this is a bit silly. Perhaps this is quite naive of me. But I'm wondering if the police would have investigated that incident, if there was a lot of noise, if multiple windows at the front of the house were smashed. Wouldn't that have alerted the police to that premises? Wouldn't the police perhaps be able to ascertain that there was some level of gang activity occurring at that premises? I'm speculating. Am I being naive to assume that the police would be aware of that case? I mean, for them to be aware that a house had a violent incident happening in it, for them to be aware, they would need to be informed, perhaps by a neighbour, or they would need to notice that the windows are smashed. I mean, do police do that? Do police notice? Do council workers notice these things? I mean, in my mind, they really ought to. It's council workers. I mean, they just annoy me. I'm going on too much of a tangent. I'm being a little bit disrespectful. But council workers, police officers, they do drive down streets. They do live in local areas. You know, they do have eyes. Do they not see certain things and then act on what they see, investigate further, ask questions? I don't know. It just seems perhaps this was a lost opportunity to investigate that premises, because presumably it was a trap house of sorts. I mean, I don't really know what I mean by a trap house, but, you know, presumably it's a house where criminal activity was occurring on an ongoing basis. That's my guess. That's my speculation. I would have thought that if all of the windows in the front of the house were smashed, that the police would notice that. That's my thought. But maybe I'm being silly and naive. In any case, it is a tragedy. A 25-year-old man has been stabbed to death last month, October the 16th. Thankfully, a 20-year-old man that was kidnapped was not assaulted, so he's fine. But you now got these 9, possibly even 10 youths aged from 16 through to 19. Some of which are going to be charged with, or have been charged with, murder and kidnapping. I mean, this is just senseless. Senseless. I got to think it's drug related. I got to think it's gang related. And I hope and expect Victoria Police will absolutely, I'm going to use the word crucify. I don't mean it in the literal sense, of course. But I do hope that the Victoria Police crucify these youths. Do you want such criminal activity to become normalised in Melbourne, in these suburbs? Is that what you want, Victoria? I mean, obviously the answer has to be no. You have to throw the book at every last one of these bastards that killed the 25-year-old man. Now, I don't know anything about the 25-year-old man. Maybe the 25-year-old man was also a gang member. Maybe the 20-year-old that was kidnapped was also a gang member. And I would imagine and expect and hope that the police in Victoria are investigating those things. Come on, guys. Come on, police. If you have evidence that there are criminal gangs, drug-related presumably, forming, maturing in these suburbs, keep your eyes open, please. Do your investigations and root them out. Because it's not just about these guys killing each other. It's about the damage that the drugs and the crime do to the area, to the community. I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. Has this been a decent video? I'm not sure. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. Been a bit of a rant. Some of you like that. Some of you don't. I don't know. I haven't been quite relaxed in a few of these videos, so perhaps I'm just getting a little bit more relaxed. Let's see how we go. So I'm going to wrap things up here, guys. It's Wednesday evening for me. I might do one more video, perhaps. But take care. Thanks.